Hello and welcome to the Amazon Strategist Show, the show that's all strategy with no hacks, no silver bullets and no magic pills, just real practical strategies to grow your Amazon business. Today I am joined again, I think it's third time maybe, by none other than Talor Ofer, who has been selling products to retail since 2005, while many of us were still in the e-commerce womb, and has successfully started Retail Empire, been running that for many years, and he helps many brands get into some of the largest US retailers like Costco, Walmart, among many others. Talor has sold products in every category and bringing many e-commerce brands to the world and facilitating fantastic growth for them. So, Talor, welcome back to the show again.
Thank you, John. So good to be here with you, and thanks for having me today. It's a pleasure.
You are very welcome. And if anyone's listening back in the future, it's now February 2026, and this is 2025. It's the 25th of February. And what's changed? So, I mean, last time we talked was probably the end of 24, I guess. So that's like probably over a year ago. I had a baby since then, so the whole year has disappeared. Right. And so did you. So,
right. I'll tell you what changed. What changed is, a lot of things changed, but what mainly changed to everyone is AI. You know, the presence is amazing, and you see it in every aspect. Even my 6-year-old boy is telling me how to use GPT. He says, "Dad, you have to copy from here, you have to paste it here, and then you don't ask that to GPT." And I was like, whoa, where did that came from? So everybody's using GPT or Claude or Gemini or whatever you're using, a lot of SaaS stuff. And I think this is also having huge effect on retail. So it's, first of all, having effect on how retailers are behaving. They are far better, in terms of monitoring the right things for their consumer and what's going to work for them and everything. But it also works for, small companies like myself, like I have. And I think one of the biggest advantages we took on AI, besides others as well, but the main one was like hunting new channels. So this is something I'm always talking about. Like, okay, you're selling on Amazon, you have the supply chain. Why don't you move to Walmart, Costco, and so on? Now, I've seen hundreds, if not even thousands of brands doing it in the last couple of years. And I could say that there's a great, huge move towards retail in the last year and a half or so. And I've been cooperating with a couple of very well-known companies on that fields. So I'm seeing what's happening in terms of, I'm exposed to so many sellers who are doing this step. And then I thought all the time, like, okay, there's like around 29,000 retailers across the States. Eventually you get to a point where you already either reached out to most of them or even all of them. But then, okay, what's next? So there are things like channels that I was familiar with, like, TV segments or subscription boxes, to those of you who are familiar with it. And then there's wholesalers and there's a lot of things. But then I thought, okay, let's take an advantage on AI and start really digging in to know the channels. Because eventually retail is a huge industry. And obviously e-commerce is part of retail. When I'm saying retail, usually I'm talking about brick and mortar. But that's not the exact right precise definition. The definition is retail means selling products, and it doesn't matter if you're selling sprays in a barber or toys on Walmart shelf. It's the same. It's retail. And then we found so many new channels. I was just exploring earlier this week. I was exploring one of them, which is called Deca, and that's just an example, but it gives a spotlighting something on these areas. So Deca, I think it's known as, there's another name, I forgot it. But anyway, Deca.mil, M-I-L, you can even Google it. They are belonging to the government, and they are selling products across army bases and places like that. Their audience is a stable amount of 4 million people purchasing from them. Now they work super different from other retailers. Being a government organization, they are not profitable organization, which means their pricing is quite, I would say, ridiculous. They are making 5% on the product that you sell them wholesale wise, and that's going to be the retail price. So it's a complete different structure of working. But this is a good example of, like, if without AI, I would never even get to think or to find a company like that And I never thought like, okay, B2G, like business to government, what do I have to do with that? Like I'm not selling guns, I'm not selling ships or whatever they need in the States. But hey, it's not only that, there's so many other things that are eventually related with sellers like us, even small sellers. I'm talking about small sellers. So yeah, that's I think pretty much what changed. I know it was a short question and long answer.
Oh, sorry, I like it. AI, but your take on AI has been completely different from other guests' take on AI, because you are in a slightly different space. So awesome. It's really good to know and learn about how AI is impacting other businesses, and also other ways of even finding. I love AI as a research tool is amazing, and I feel like we're only scratching the surface because at the end of the day, AI should and can already, but if used right, basically become an ultimate VA. Like the person that is willing to manually do stuff, which we could never do before, like manually search, manually look at stuff, just at massive scale, if you're willing to eat
Right,
credits for breakfast.
right.
So, I mean, I guess with these changes, are chain stores still buying small brands?
Yeah, definitely. Even more because for them now it became very easy to understand a brand. So if in old times, before AI was
Old
exploding and
times,
everything, old
2023.
times, yeah, you could say old times, yeah, 2025 is even old times, but in before it exploded, they would have to look at each and every brand and start to analyze it. Now, and not analyzing a brand for them now takes seconds instead of hours before they even see your samples or seeing your pricing or whatever. Plus, they also can understand very quickly if this is a good fit for them and for which type of shelf and everything. Plus, they can also investigate you as a vendor. So when I'm going on a call, by the way, I'm using Perplexity browser instead of Chrome. Why? Because of many reasons. One of the main reasons is that it's tracking my activity, so it's learning what I'm doing, and then should give me good advices. But thing is that it tracked that I'm having a lot of meetings, so it was offering me to send me a pre-meeting kind of report to my email. So what happens now is that before I'm going on a meeting with anyone on Zoom call, whatever it is, I'm getting a report, not only what the guy is doing, what's his brand name and everything, but also some information from his LinkedIn, what type of person he is, like things like that are very, super unique. Stuff that you wouldn't be able to achieve without. So for buyer, what I'm trying to say is buyers are doing the same. And it works both to the negative and positive way, like everything with AI. Some of us, including myself, are a little bit afraid about this, overtake from AI areas, and sometimes, you're thinking everybody talks about AI. You go to GPT and then you get such a stupid answer, and you're like, what is that? What everyone talks about? No, but then you go to base 44 trying to create a dashboard, and you create a dashboard we created a dashboard within 2 weeks that the previous one took us 2 years. So it's like, whoa. So again, it works both ways. But yeah, we see the effect. And definitely, I think even more than before, buyers are willing to try small brands and taste them and test them. Again, because there's a lot of capabilities and things change. Like if in the past they would have to, they would be forced, or at least should be forced to order like in tens of thousands. Nowadays, they know that with all the changes that we had in the last couple of years, they can order a couple of tens or hundreds of products per brand and see what works for them. And if your brand works for them, then sky's the limit, like always. And that is retail anyway. So
Yeah, I like that. And like, yeah, I think that's AI democratizing attention so that you can just give the same amount of attention to someone small as someone big is really awesome. I've actually, in the
that's a good
last 2 days,
definition. I'll take it with me. Democratizing definition. Love
I
it.
just came out of my brain. So it's
Yeah.
all in there. Would that come out of AI? Probably. Uh, Two people in the last 2 days, two like VAs, EAs, people I've been talking to, have both been on AI interviews in the last 2 days. Like literally, they apply for a job and they have an instant interview that asks them questions, and then they have to stare at the camera and answer these questions. And I'd be super
Wow.
interested They're going to send it to me, and I'm going to do one of the interview. I'm going to do one of the interviews and see what it is because I want to see what's going on. But
Right.
everything is moving towards people trying automation. And it seems like these massive online recruitment companies are now filtering with AI interviews, which is super interesting. I didn't even know that existed yet.
Yeah.
You're right about the ChatGPT responses, though. Like, I don't know about you, but I get into these deep conversations with ChatGPT, and it leads me, and I'm thinking, okay, here. And then I get 5 conversations in, and I'm like, I'm the expert. Why am I listening to this crap coming out of ChatGPT, which I know is
Exactly.
crap? I'm trying to convince it that it's the right answer, but I know the right answer for me.
True.
Anyway, I think it's the lesson for our kids in the future is think, do not trust the machine blindly.
Exactly. I'm like not forcing, but I'm encouraging my kids, to focus on books as much as they do on their computers. Like, okay, you have the computer, you have the Instagram and all this, whatever, but books. We always have books at home. Otherwise, you don't want to know what's gonna grow in your house if they don't have it. They need to know how to use their brain. It's basic.
Oh, for sure. I read listened to because because I don't read anymore. The Anxious Generation. I don't know about anyone in the audience has listened to or read that. Highly recommended. Scare the shit out of you about your kids and about myself and me, also my consumption previously. Okay, so now you can actually get in with the small brands still, and maybe even more easily because of the way that AI is democratizing attention. I love that. Came from a genius. So what's the process for that happening? Can you talk us through the process of how that would happen and the steps someone needs to go through and how long it takes to actually get into retail?
Well, I think let's start from the end. How long it takes? This is, a very hard question because some of the brands we work with are entering retail as fast as within 6 to 8 weeks.
Wow.
Some of them are as slow as between 8 to 12 months. So it really depends because case by case. Now let me explain it a little bit.